We are back here with Fernando, who is a psychic medium spiritual teacher, and I have been so grateful to chat with him many times, and I certainly appreciate you being back to do that again. Fernando, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me back.
Okay, so I do have to ask, I'm not saying I'm psychic, but I feel like throughout my life, I have had these experiences, and I'm sure I'm not alone, where I feel like I'm channeling some type of answer for something, whether it's in the long term or, the short term. And then I don't trust myself, but then it ends up being like those feelings that are true. And I've heard from a few people that this happens to them too. So I'm wondering, is that some psychic ability we are unaware of, or do more people have it than we think?
Oh, 100%. I absolutely believe that everybody is psychic, and that's something that I constantly tell everyone that I meet, because people want to believe that this is some special ability that only some of us who are gifted or special have. So every single person on the planet is psychic. I wholeheartedly believe that. I have not met one individual who has not exhibited a form of intuition. The issue or challenge that we face in this is that most people don't understand what psychic ability is, and so they don't have an understanding so that they're able to tap in or use it. What psychic ability is simply the ability to perceive things beyond the normal physical senses. Now, as children, when we are evolving and growing, we're engaging with the world around us through the use of our physical tactile senses. So our sight, our sense of taste, our sense of smell, all of that is information that is relayed to our brain, and our brain takes that and helps us to understand what we're dealing with or what is going on in our physical environment. And this is a strategy to help us to evolve, to adapt to circumstances, and to survive. The same mechanism is triggered when people are having a psychic experience. The difference is, with a psychic experience, you're not having a trigger based on a physical experience, you're having it based on an energetic experience.
So it's more of what, I guess, us humans that aren't psychic think of intuition. It's just an more intuition and energy that is coming off of a certain situation or a person that we're like perceiving, but we don't spend more time thinking about it. Like, it's a practice that you went into, correct?
Yeah, intuition, I consider intuition to be like a service level form of psychic ability. It's just that light level of sensing where most people are thinking about their everyday stuff, but every now and then something surfaces and they're made aware of it on an energetic spectrum. That is what I consider to be intuition. But if you take it further and develop it into something more constructive or usable, that's when you really start to get into what we would consider psychic ability.
So basically what you're saying is, if I wanted, or whoever wanted, to spend more time honing in on a psychic ability, you can actually maybe practice it, or you get to that level?
Yeah, absolutely. This is what I do for a living. I mean, not only am I a psychic and a medium, but I also train people how to do this. And most new students that come into the class, into the group class or into the one-on-one training with me, they come in and they have these preconceived ideas that, when it comes to psychic ability, some people are more gifted or better at it than others. But with the strategies that I use for my students, I'm able to get them past that mindset and those blocks that they've self-created, and I get them to start to utilize it in a very effective way, in a way that we already do without even realizing it.
Okay, so I'm curious for sure. I want to learn how I can become more psychic, and if everyone at home is how they can become more psychic, stay tuned, because Fernando tell us in a little bit. We'll be right back. So if you were tuned earlier when I was talking, my favorite psychic medium and spiritual teacher, Ferny, you might have heard him say that we, as in every human has the ability to be psychic, just like him, which really sparks my attention, and I'm curious, how can people tap into use that for themselves?
Yeah, well, all you have to do is make space in your head for for you to pay attention to what's going on in your head. And you can do that by simply taking advantage of something as simple as like an awareness meditation. Take 5 minutes, breathe in and out, pay attention to the thoughts that are flowing in your head, and over some practice, you're going to just start to distinguish the difference between the different thoughts and the patterns of thoughts you're having. Some of those thoughts or patterns have to do with everyday stuff. Some of those thoughts or patterns have to do with your ego and you telling yourself that you're either not good enough or that you are good enough, but this or that. Some of those thoughts or patterns are so subtle and so light in their flow within your mind that you aren't even aware that they're happening all the time. So most people are receiving psychic information or having a psychic experience on a regular basis, but they are so busy with other things that they just don't pay attention. So meditate, just 5 minutes, breathe in and out, pay attention to your thoughts, and then journal it out or write it out. That's one way you can do it. Another way that you can develop your abilities is using tools that most common practitioners use, something like oracle cards or tarot cards, which are great. I have actually started off using tarot cards, so that was my preferred method at the beginning. But after some time, they got very restrictive because I was sensing things beyond what those cards were supposed to represent or mean. So after a while, I just did away with them, and I started to allow my mind to just take me where it wanted to go. My tool of choice, honestly, is intention, because when I'm doing a reading or I'm connecting with a question or with a focus for a client, I intend to know the answer. I don't question whether I'm going to know the answer. I don't question whether I can get the information that's connected to the answer. I just assume I'm going to get the answer. And so as soon as I intend to know the answer to whatever it is I'm trying to tune into, automatically all of those mechanisms in my brain that are trying to give me an experience, a sensory experience, devoid of the physical experience that I'm having, it becomes activated, and I start to have an internal process take place, and I pay attention to those thoughts. I pay attention to those details, and that will give me information that I use to make my prediction or to reveal to the client what it is that I'm sensing that is happening or what will occur in the future. But it's still a best guess. It's my assumed prediction. It's my assumed answer based on the pieces that I sense. So even if whatever comes to pass isn't perfectly or exactly what I predicted, all of the pieces that I sense and I shared with the client are going to be there.
Right. So I like the point you made about journaling or writing it down, because then that can hold your answer accountable for whatever you were thinking at that moment, because time's going to go by fast, and you're going to forget that you even thought it like most days. So I am curious about your classes. Can anyone join?
Yeah, I actually have a free class for people because I, again, was really frustrated with my own journey, and I just wanted to give back to those who wanted to get through it faster. And instead of having to piecemeal your training from all of the different resources, I decided to bring together like a cohesive amount of information through a course. So there's a free course that I offer on my YouTube channel, which people can get there through my website. Just go down to Fernando.com, go down to the events and class section, and then you'll link up to the free class. That's just the core basic thing to help you understand what this is, all the little things that tend to happen with people when they're having psychic experiences, including some of the paranormal stuff, and then how you can start to use it or practice it. I also offer like free exercises every single week on my Instagram and on my social media, because I want to give people a chance to actually practice. You're not going to be a good psychic or even an adequate one unless you use it on a regular basis. And if you're expecting to like flip a switch because you did a meditation and you're going to be suddenly psychic, then you're dreaming and you're not going to develop and you're just going to suck. So it's really important to practice, and I give people enough opportunities to practice. But I do one-on-one coaching and also group coaching with people who are serious about developing their abilities, and I walk them through the process and get them to where they need to go.
So at the bottom of your screen there you can see exactly where you can find all of his information and contact him yourself. That is Fernando Marron, the psychic medium and spiritual teacher that I love so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you next time.
Thank you, Mama.